and we're here today to talk to you about the subject of appreciation, one of the key relationship skills.
And first of all, we're going to say something about, well, what is appreciation? And we're going to start with the traditional idea of gratitude.
Or being thankful.
And that one most of us can relate to. You know, I'm thankful of what I've created here with you.
I'm thankful for the food you prepared.
But there are other definitions which are very important here as well. And the second definition is to be sensitively aware of something.
So when I bring all of my senses in, it's way more valuable to me. Like if I see a flower and I come close to it and I look at it from a number of directions, if I smell it or maybe even touch it, my sense of appreciation really grows.
Or think of it this way, I'm going to look at that flower. I'm going to be sensitively aware of it because I'm going to look at it from a different angle. I take pictures of flowers a lot, and as a photographer, I want to see, well, what is, oh, look at this new angle here. Ooh, it's beautiful from this side, or from the top, or with the light a certain way. To be sensitively aware of.
Another meaning of the word appreciation is to increase in value. My house has increased in value, hopefully yours has too. It's appreciated. And when I genuinely appreciate something, it increases in value in my eyes.
And I'm just going to take that a little bit farther. In German, there is a word called Wertschätzung. Literally, what it means is to treasure somebody. So I value or I treasure the worth of you. So let us think of appreciation here as I treasure the value that's innately in you.
Wonderful. So the opposite of appreciation, it's important for us to know what it is that we're not wanting to generate. The first thing I usually think of is the idea of entitlement. You know, I have the right to something. I deserve it. You owe me. So when I'm feeling like I'm entitled to something, go ahead and join me in thinking about something you're entitled to and just notice what happens in your body. So as soon as I think about I'm entitled to my children recognizing my birthday or Christmas or Mother's Day, as soon as I think about that, I notice that my forehead starts to constrict. I notice some tightening in my shoulders and the space between my shoulder blades. I'm entitled.
And an example for me is, I'm entitled to 2 sexual exchanges every week. And I notice that when I go there, I have a certain sense of, I want to grab hold of you and make you do that because you owe me that. I'm not getting enough and I want more of that. And as I do that, I just notice this real tightness in my shoulders, but also a roiling around in my belly.
And I noticed as soon as you started expressing that from the sense of entitlement, I noticed my wanting to resist or pull away from that. So let's see if we can shift from entitlement to appreciation. So I'm just going to say the same thing, but say the words appreciation. So I appreciate my children when they recognize me for birthday or Mother's Day or Christmas. And immediately I start thinking about the times when they have recognized that. The time when my older son was in India and I hadn't heard from him for a while, and he walked a long way to get to a phone to call me on my birthday. So rather than thinking about the times when he hasn't done it, I shift to the time he did it and it meant so much to me. Immediately my forehead relaxes and my shoulders relax.
And when I think of, I appreciate the regular sexual exchange and sexual play that you and I have.
Wow.
Yeah, I just have a lot of bubbliness going up from, not, it maybe starts up here and it moves all over my body. I notice I take a much deeper breath and I really want to look at you.
Yeah. And it really is much more attracting. It attracts me to you. And then I start to appreciate those things and I start to remember them and I start to want them too.
And I see you as my ally in creating this. Isn't it amazing what happens just with a little shift to appreciation?
Wow.
So let's go on to the opposite. Another opposite of appreciation is judgment. And again, it's easy for us to do. Let's play with judgment for a moment. For example, behind the camera, there's a painting that I've painted of my son. And if I go and look at it with judgment, I notice, I don't like all the colors. The colors, there's one side where I think I rushed and I think I kind of smudged the colors.
And if I try to generate judgment, I focus on that one little part that it doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it. And again, I notice my forehead immediately constricts. Something happens even in my jaw, and that same thing on the back of my, between my shoulders, and it's sort of going up my neck, and it's like I could even give myself a headache if I kept generating judgment.
I have quite a similar feeling, and I notice a sinking also in the front of my body of something that I value a lot, and suddenly I'm seeing the flaws, and I'm seeing details which are suddenly, ooh.
So let's see if we
Not
can
enjoying.
shift that. I want to shift to appreciation because I think we're not comfortable with judgment any longer. It doesn't. We've been appreciating for so long. It doesn't even feel good. So I'm going to see what I need to do to shift back into appreciation of that painting. And I think if I look at it from a different perspective, and I sort of like, if I draw my attention outward and see it like somewhat more broadly, I see, rather than just seeing the little part I don't like, I sort of look at it more from the broader perspective, and I really appreciate the image of our son in this huge tree. It starts to really look much more attractive to me.
I look at the strength of the image that I've created there in paint, and yeah, he's actually in the hollow part of this huge tree on the west coast in the rainforest, and I notice the richness of the colors right now and the variety. And I'm also looking at his serene face stuck way up in this big hole in the tree. And I just noticed that I have this big sense of expansiveness about me and joy, which I am experiencing looking at that.
So it's easy to generate judgment, but it's also easy to generate appreciation. It's actually a choice. In any moment, I can choose to focus on judgment, or I can choose to focus on appreciation.
Lots of us spend time saying, is this worthy of appreciation? Well, the whole point is everything's worthy of appreciation.
There's always something to be appreciated in everything.
So let's just look at a little bit of research. And by that, let's look at John Gottman, who back in the 90s, after studying couples for 20 years, and he's still one of the definers today of what makes a healthy relationship. And one of the things which he said was, you need 5 positive interactions for 1 negative interaction to have a healthy relationship.
So we challenge you to increase your ratio of positives to negatives. Bring it up to 5 to 1 or even more.
So play with it. And think of this again. You make a conscious choice of appreciation over judgment and entitlement.